I have my resume, cover letter, and references in there.
Alright. So I see that you basically just worked at Firehouse Sub so far. Um, and you want to be in accounting now instead, more of a office type job?
Yes.
Okay.
Somewhere where I'm not prone to trip a lot on grease.
Well, yeah, accounting's a little different than that. Um, well, accounting, you got to be somebody that kind of pays attention to details and make sure that every little cent's accounted for. Um, what sort of things do you have any experience like that in your current job, where paying attention to details would make a difference?
I have to count change back properly. If I don't, sometimes they come back and say, hey, you miscounted $1. Hasn't happened to me very much, but it happens to some of my other coworkers. And I also have to make sure I put bacon on clubs on a sub and turkey bacon ranches, which I tend to forget. But other than that,
So taking the orders.
Yeah.
And that would probably be a good translation. How did you learn how to do those things? I mean, so I'm sure you just didn't walk in and say, okay, I'm here, and then they throw you the wolves and you just start working. Did you have a manual, or did somebody train you?
Somebody trained me, and she basically said, shadow me for a while and have me take orders until I was ready to go on my own.
So did they have a checklist of things that you had to learn? Or?
Yeah, one of my managers gave me a checklist at the very beginning, and she said, at this time you need to have this done, at this time you need to have this done.
Like what sort of,
like cleaning,
a daily to-do list?
Yeah, a daily to-do list.
Did you have to memorize stuff, or?
Yeah, I had to take a menu test a week after I started over all the sandwiches, pretty much, except the meatball, because meatball.
So when you were learning, did you think that you learn best when somebody's teaching you how to do it, or if they just line it out for you and you ask questions, or would you rather just watch them do it and then learn from that?
I think it's a mixture of both, of all of it. Like at school, I learn better if the teacher teaches me, but if I'm by myself, I can figure out what to do.
So which do you prefer, I guess? Because sometimes, in a job, you'll come in and they'll give you can sometimes be overwhelmed by the information, but sometimes they give you a little information and then you run with it, and other times they might walk you through the whole process. Which would you rather see first?
The whole process.
You'd rather see the whole process
and then
first.
Go back and ask for minor details.
So kind of get an overview, then and then go back through. Okay. What about your bosses? What kind of things do you like about them, or dislike, or how do you like to be managed? Do you like to be told these are the expectations? Or?
One of my managers, I don't like to be bossed around by her, because whenever I see her sitting around doing nothing, it makes me want to sit around doing nothing. But if one of them is working like constantly, I will do that. And even one of the other managers says, you determine how your shift goes, so if the manager isn't doing what they're supposed to do, then everybody else isn't doing what they.
But as an employee, would you say that it's your responsibility to?
Yeah, I get my stuff done, and then after I get my stuff done, and then I have like my little baby stuff I need to do, then I want to procrastinate it, because she's procrastinating what she's doing.
So how do you think you'd overcome that in the future? Because a lot of times there's not what your boss does isn't directly tied to what you do.
Well, then that works better for me, because if they aren't directly tied to my work, then I can get my work done, and then they can get their work done. But it's whenever everybody has to work as a team where I'm like, well, it depends on the person in charge.
So you wait for some direction.
Yeah.
If it's multiple people involved.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that sometimes you have some ability to motivate everybody to get it done,
Yes.
even though your boss may or may not
Yeah.
give that direction.
Mhm. It sometimes is a team effort for the other employees to do it, but sometimes I'm like, okay, guys, we got to get out by 9:30. We all want to get out at 9:30, so we're all motivated to get out at 9:30. So we work harder for that.
About dealing with a fellow employee that you don't think works very hard. What do you normally? How do you deal with that? Do you deal with them directly? Do you go to your supervisor?
I tell the supervisor first, and then I say, hey, we all came to agreement that if you're not going to work if you're just going to sit around and watch me do all of the lobby stuff, then you can be the first one to clock off, and you can leave at 9, or you can work harder and close, or vice versa.
So when you went to your manager, how did you approach that?
I said, hey, if Jill isn't doing her job, would you like me to say, hey, remember how you went on vacation and how you didn't get paid too much? Maybe you should work harder, or should I be the one that stays? And they're like, well, you guys can come to an agreement, and usually it all comes down to who they can afford to close and stay.
So what part of your job now do you think will help you in the future?
Probably the cashing aspect of it, because I have to count all the money back, and especially whenever it has like the big dollars, I have to count exactly that amount of change, or else the customer doesn't get too pleased.
So when you do that, are there procedures for how that money gets counted, or how it gets handed off from the cash register to the manager? Or
yeah, I have to write down, like, hey, I put a $100 bill in there, or hey, I put a 50 in there.
So you put a note in the drawer?
Well, no, we have like a little post-it note, like underneath our.
So where did you put it? Is there like a drop safe or something?
Yeah, we have a safe underneath our desk.
So in school,
Mhm.
I'm assuming you're going to go to college and study accounting.
Yes.
And what led you in that direction? Was it, have you taken any accounting classes in school?
I have not, mainly because I'm trying to get my other classes that our school requires. But taking this personal finance class, I have discovered that I like the accounting part of it, like the taxes and stuff. Might be a little confusing, but I understand it a bit more.
Confusing because you don't know the terms, or confusing because...
The terms. Yeah.
So have you